When we first saw the reveal trailer for Mafia: The Old Country, I had a rush of emotions, all good ones. For me, I'm like, okay, these developers are sending a pretty clear message as their first piece of something to show gamers regarding this new entry. For one, focus will be on the story. That's a great thing. Great narratives, characters, and even storytelling are clear tenets that are found within each of the Mafia titles. Along with that, just based on the trailer, we could see little glimpses of what the gameplay will be. It was cool to see that you'll be riding on horses along with driving cars. Gunplay was going to be at the center of it as well, with what appears to be the cover system returning. Guns sound good and powerful. Again, I love what they are dishing out. There seems to be some type of melee system too, something this series has always struggled with, and it's a good area to improve in. So after all of that, I'm sold. Period piece type of game. Seems to be honoring the series and going more traditional. What more can you ask for? But now more details have come out regarding Mafia: The Old Country, and I think when paired with that reveal trailer, this new game might be in some very talented and good hands. There are many important pieces to take from this interview, and again, we are hearing from the president of Hangar 13, along with the director of the game, so this is the tone at the top, what is going to be trickling down to everyone else, and even setting that tone for the studio and this project. They are focusing on a cinematic experience. Okay, that is good, and makes sense with how story-driven this series is. Mafia is going for a linear, narratively driven game. Again, music to my ears. I know some within the game's media, when they hear linear, they automatically are out to attack it. But linear and open world are not inherently good or bad things. It is all in how you execute it. Personally, I feel like in the current state of big games, we have way too many big open world titles, way too much bloat. So when I hear linear, for me that ends up being an automatic positive, because of how the current state of things are. Then these two developers insisted that Mafia: The Old Country is more like Mafia 1 and 2 than say Mafia 3. I think this is a really big thing here, considering as it pertains to this title, and what to take away from it for this interview. Hangar 13 were the ones that took over for the original studio. Hangar 13 made Mafia 3. That was their first Mafia title, and the game had a mixed reception. Personally, I loved that game. It was sort of flipping a traditional mob story on its head, while also maintaining core tenets that the series had. Let me explain. The storytelling in the game was one of its best aspects. You were being told the narrative from multiple points of view in different settings, through either present day, through future interviews, Congress hearings, and all of it created this absorbing narrative structure. I enjoyed the gameplay, as it allowed for a lot of freedom in many of the encounters, to go more of a stealth route or go very loud. Yes, some of these lead-up missions can be a bit repetitive in their design, but for me, since I enjoyed the combat, I never felt that repetition. Even the DLCs to the game were good too. So yes, it had solid combat, along with a stellar story. But being that this was a game about systematically taking down the mob, than actually being a story about rising through one. For me, I do think Mafia 3 should not have been a numbered title, but more of a spin-off type game. I think fans and players would have received that one much better, with that distinction being made. But either way, I'm in the minority as it comes to Mafia 3. And when I see the developers say that their next game is going to be more like Mafia 1 and 2, that right there shows me that they know their fanbase, and more importantly, they know what they want. This is them sort of acknowledging the mistakes that the fans saw with Mafia 3, and now Hangar 13 is trying to make good to their fanbase. Again, they inherited this fanbase from the prior developers that made 1 and 2, and Hangar 13 did do a solid job with the Mafia 1 remake as well. So I think this is one of the best things to take away from this interview. Mafia 1 and 2, that experience is something that these guys are trying to stay true to. I love as well that they are not trying to reboot the franchise or anything like that. They want to tell an earlier story that fits within the universe. While I have some reboots that I actually do like, I generally would rather have an in-universe sequel of some kind, if the story fits for that particular game, and then go in that direction, maybe. Not everything needs to be remade, and yes, use Mafia 1 as an example of a good remake. Technically it's not a reboot, just a remake. It would appear too that this game is going to be following that structure of 1 and 2, and be more focused on its story, being more linear, while also having that more open space. My question is that the developers talk about how the players can go, and and explore if they want to. This has me really interested. They say that there would not be endless side missions or anything like that, but I wonder if there's going to be any side activities that sort of connect to the story. For example, maybe there are side arcs you can play through to sort of flesh out other members of the cast. While exploring, will the player net any new weapons, money, or anything like that? Is there a currency system, or even a progression system? Can we buy new outfits? A lot of this stuff we don't really know about, but the message is clear. These guys want to deliver a traditional Mafia experience, something the fanbase has been very hungry for a while. The big reason I wanted to make this video, and why I did all of this, is that from the reveal trailer and now the new information that we've had from this interview, this tells me that Hangar 13 is not trying to make a story for the modern audience. It doesn't appear to be something where they're going back to 1915 as a means to dissect the inner workings of the current modern state in geopolitics, nor is it trying to take us on a journey of identity and discovery on what it means to be one thing or another. This is, in its very essence, looking extremely traditional. It looks like what many of us Mafia fans really have been asking for the last several years. They did not use their first opportunity to go out and try and belittle their audience for what happened with Mafia 3. They don't try to defend it. And honestly, that's a really good move. Instead, they're focusing on what appears what fans want, and then they're going in that direction. Hey, I'll defend Mafia 3, I'm in the minority on that one. And generally I see that more fans want more of Mafia 1 and 2. And even though I still love 3 as well, I am really happy with how Hangar 13 is going about their messaging for this game. It's been a long time since we've had a brand new Mafia game, like a Mafia 4 of sorts. Taking the good Mafia 1 remake to the side, and just looking at the mainline entries, it's been a while. And here we have a game where the distance between the last big entry has been a long time, and now we have a new one on the horizon. It would appear that this new game is shooting for all of the things that this fan base wants, and I'm eating all of this up. And as of right now, the developer seems to be showing and telling all of us the right things. This is how you do it, and most importantly, this is what us players want. I think many of us are sick of that modern nonsense, so by taking the game back to an earlier time, making it another period piece of sorts, and it appears to be soaking in all the traditions and tenets of the series, well, that seems to be the making for something special right there. Now overall, we're not really sure, we haven't played the game yet, and we haven't really seen much of the gameplay either, so there is a lot up in the air. But if they can manage to deliver on all of this, we are watching this and seeing them set the stage, and most certainly we are hungry for more of these types of games. We want to buy it, especially if it's good. I for one want this to be great. I hope Hangar 13 can really nail it. What are your thoughts on all of this? Do you like what the developers have shown so far and talked about with Mafia: The Old Country? How do you hope the game will turn out? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.